Okay, so we got some of the main bearings out. I wanted to show this on the lower main bearing cap. You see a little bit of a, I didn't get that in the video, a little bit of a carbon buildup. It's really hard. There's sort of a little bit of a carbon packing here going on right inside this cavity right here. And this cavity right here, you can see this a little bit of carbon packing in the main bearing there. It looks like it's caused some scratching. It's caused some scratching on number 7. You can see some of it right there where it got in and came loose and scratched it up. But just a pretty good bit of carbon packing there. Pretty hard. There's some caught up in here in this corner. And you can see that on the camera. It's right there in that corner. Get it in a good light. Right here in this corner right here, you can see there's some pretty thick, just knocked it out, pretty thick chunks of carbon packing that was right here. So it was definitely at one time this engine has a little bit of carbon issues. So thought I'd point that out in the video. Rolling?
Rolling.
Right here. Right there in that joint. You see that? That's a thrust bearing up in there. That's a thrust bearing right there. Some of it is falling out, but it was just jam-packed with carbon. It's still a little bit up in there. You see that?
On this corner.
Yeah. So I'm going to pull this thrust bearing out right here. I'm going to roll that out of there. Now the key with the thrust bearings, like in my other video, the important part is to have this rolled edge, that beveled edge, towards this rolled edge on the crank when you put them in, because you can accidentally get them in backwards, because you could put it backwards like that on the other side. So make sure that rolled edge, rounded edge, meets this rounded edge when you slide them up in there, which means this one goes this way up in there. You go in like that and then you slide up in there. But that whole channel where these sit had a big chunk of carbon, and it was holding that thing in there.
Yeah.
Look at that chunk of carbon right there. You see that? Oh, it's all coming out now. It broke up when I pried it down, but it was packed with carbon all around here and all up in here, and it came all loose. So that's what happened, is it had hardened, old, carbonized, carbon from the exhaust.
Carbonized schmoo.
Yeah, it's from the exhaust and the EGR getting into the engine from back when it had problems, so it's just remnants of that. It didn't do any damage really. It scarred some of the main bearings, a little bit here and there. We can see that on the bearing. We'll show that later, but this was like the worst spot, I think. I mean, there's no real buildup in here. It's not like the whole thing. It's just little corners and pockets, and you can still, look, there's a spot right there up in there. See that? Up in that corner? There's a big bunch of it up there. So at one point, this engine was pretty bad off. You can see it's really nice and clean now because he keeps his oil clean and everything, but, at some point it did suffer. So that's what happens when you neglect them when they're new. The first person that buys it and runs it for its first 500,000 miles, they neglect the crap out of it and it gets like this, and then the second person has to deal with the problems and try to clean it up. The first person would have taken care of it, would have never ended up like this. My truck didn't have a single bit of this in it because I took care of it from day one.
Is there another key on the other side?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I can see the carbon. I can see the carbon pack right there on that.
Is it on that side too?
Yeah. If you want to see on this corner right here, bad. It's very bad. You see?
Oh wow! Here, let me have the camera.
It's right there.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And you can see it up in here.
Right there on that corner of the key.
Right up in there, you see that? Yeah, it's pretty bad. You can see it's all packed in there, black carbon.
Yeah.
Right up around that key.
Yep.
Yeah, between the key and the main wall. Yeah, it's pretty bad. That's really thick there. There you go. Alright, push that key out. Let's get this key out right here.
Yeah, but we have to get the...
You got pressure on it. Feel that? Because what happens is the crank, because without the thrust bearings, the crank can float this way in and out towards the front and back of the motor. What happens, because you're on this ramp, is when you take that back key out, it shifts this way. So now you got to put a little pressure back this way to get that thrust bearing out. So I'll pull on it back the other way. You just grab any of these. Pull it. I'll pull it towards the front a little bit, and then we'll pull it right out. There we go.
Which
see?
way does it go? It goes that way?
Yeah, it only comes out one way. Got it? It'll come right out. You can take it out with your fingers. That's easy. There you go. When we put it in, we'll have to do the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just have to take the weight of the crank and push it this way towards the front or this way towards the back.
We're chopping up.
Get some of that carbon out of there, yeah. You're gonna want to spray the crap out of that and really clean that well and get that with an air gun and get that with some brake cleaner and try to get some of that out of there because that's not good for you.
Okay.
Because that could come loose and get into the bearing or, it could be worse. So, that's the worst we've seen so far. Everything else is great. Engine's in good shape otherwise. Yeah. Even the liners, the crosshatch and the liners looks really good. It's not very much wear in none of the liners. The bottom end's really nice. If anything wears on this thing, it's going to be the head. Cut.
On that, all the little things was already messed up.
Yeah, this is like some of the little pieces that we found.
Yeah.
It's just,
carbon.
it's like stone.
Yeah.
Wow. There's bigger chunks that we've got out, but that's just some of it.
You know what it looks like before you crush it up?
Yeah, it feels like stone.
It looked like mouse turds.
There ain't no mice in there.
Okay, now.
Cut.
Should we take this bearing out?